Yeah, absolutely. It's all about, I mean, well, if it's a specific action sports type of brand has athletes, a lot of it for us is defined by our athlete roster. Like that was always the fuel. It was always back to the athletes, because those are the guys that really were moving the needle for us. So it's absolutely possible. The times are different though now. I mean, it's a digital world now, and back then it was so analog, and it's almost, I don't know if it's a detriment or not, because back then there was no tangible results whatsoever except for the top line sales. But where did that sales come from? Was it because the design was awesome? Is it because we got Shaun White? Is it because that ad was cool? Like, you don't know, So now with the digital world, it's like, I mean, you know exactly where your dollars are coming from. Dollars. But it is possible, 100%.
I'll piggyback on that. I definitely think it's possible, and I'll point to something that I saw Volcom do really well, which was storytelling. Okay, and the way that they did that I thought they did it better than any other brand back then, was that they used media to their advantage. And you guys had this phenomenal relationship with Beach Happy,
Yeah.
And Beach Happy was like the local action sports rag. And I mean, as soon as it came into our store, I mean, it was gone. I mean, everybody wanted it. And they would read page after page, and there were these really cool stories of new and fresh athletes that you wouldn't see in the big magazines or anything. And there would be these really cool stories of, surf trips and skate trips and snowboard trips. And it's like page after page, it was just like Volcom story. It was just really cool how you guys used that. But to your point, Shaun, I mean, I think it's definitely possible. And I think there's brands that are doing that. I think they're realizing that they have to niche themselves. And, I would say one brand that I think I'm impressed with is Rourke. I think they do some really good stuff. And there's some other brands that are doing some really cool things too, that are smaller, but they're niche focused. I like the Pura Vida guys, the 4Ocean guys, the Stance Socks guys. So I think now it's like finding your niche, tell your story, own your brand. And I think the other thing is, don't be afraid to go outside of the core. I think sometimes people, if they're not confident in their brand, they're not confident in their product, I think that's usually when they stumble and fall, because they're struggling to grow, but they need to grow outside of their circle, and they're like, gosh, are we doing it right? And they kind of, stumble here and there, but be confident. And I think that's where you guys did it. You guys were confident in your growth.
I think the mistake some brands have in that strategy of expanding out to maybe the mainstream or a little bit outside is they change their message. Maybe they try to be something that they're not. So really all you need to do is be who you are and kind of tell that story to that bigger audience. And if it resonates, great. If it doesn't, you still kind of got your core over here kind of ripping along. And because for us, ultimately at the end of the day, the core was always the foundation. I mean, yeah, we got to grow sales and we got to do this, but if you don't have that core, it's just slowly going to erode. And then once the leaders that were buying the products go away, then what are you left with? Eventually, it's just going to go, it's going to take some time, but it's going to be a different playing field over time.
Yeah. Thanks.